B&B Podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the B&B Podcast. I'm B, hopefully well and safe during these troubling times. I got a special guest right here. I can consider him my mentor when doing this right here. So, brother, please introduce yourself to the show.
How you guys doing? I'm Joe Aleman. I am a public affairs specialist for the Army. So I do a lot of storytelling for the military. It's very fulfilling. I love to do what I do. And it kind of relates to, podcasts and just talking to people, interviewing, getting to know somebody, telling their story. So very familiar work with what you do. So
all right, awesome.
I'm glad to be here. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, brother. So the reason why I brought you on this show, right, because there was a moment when you told me that you interviewed a high-ranking official. And I think when it comes to personal development, when it comes to talking to people in general, like you said, you shouldn't look at their status. You just see them as a person.
Yeah, absolutely.
So please tell us your situation back in Korea, I believe you said.
Yeah, South Korea. So I was stationed in Camp Casey, Korea. It was 2014 or 15 in that time frame. And I was a radio DJ for AFN, the American Forces Network. And it was very fun, right? I got to be a music DJ, right? Playing music, have your own radio show from 6 to 10 in the morning. Very cool, very cool. So, one of the things I got to do was interview all sorts of people from the military, from civilians, the local population. It was awesome. And one time we had the 8th Army commanding general, come to the show. It was a 1-star at the time, and me at the time I was a PFC. So it was a new experience for me because I was, again, top brass coming on the radio
low
show.
Brass right there.
Yeah, and I'm over here PFC Aleman, having to interview him. But I remember one of the first things that I was told was like, hey, the general's going to come in. He wants to do a radio interview, talk about X, Y, and Z. Who can we get to do this? And my station manager at the time, he knew my capabilities. He knew I was more of a mature kind of person.
Right.
That I can handle that kind of thing. And he was like, oh, we got the person already on the show that can do it. So I thought it was cool that, they backed, my station manager backed me up and was like, yeah, this is the person you want. There's no one else that needs to do it.
Right.
So, I got to interview a 1-star general as a PFC for an hour on the radio.
So how did that feel? Well, actually, so for the civilians out there, a general is a high-ranking official in the military in general. The PFC is usually your technician, the one whose specialties come within different jobs. So, how did you feel with that, man?
Well, it was I was already comfortable being a radio DJ and interviewing people, so it was thankfully I had already some experience on that aspect. So I kind of felt comfortable, a little nervous as the time was coming to do it, because it's someone a little higher up than I'm used to. So I was a little nervous right before, but confident in what I was capable of.
Right.
So as soon as it started, started my show like I normally do, and then I flowed into it naturally, because again, like you said, it's just you talking to another person. It's another human being, right? No matter what their status is. Person to person, good to go. And that's how they treated it as well.
Right.
We may have had a couple of jokes about this and that, but...
Well, you kept it A1.
Absolutely. So it was really cool to even have that experience.
And how do you think you were able to have that comfort? Like, was it through training? Was it through like a natural ability? Was it just, constantly speaking to people, repetition over repetition? Yeah,
it's a little bit of everything, actually, because obviously... that's what I'm trained to do. I'm trained to work the soundboard, trained to go to commercial, speak on the radio, introduce everybody. But the experience of being on the radio for, I think it was by that time 6 to 7 months already of doing it. So I was very comfortable in my element. It was just everything became natural with the technical aspect. So it was good to go. And then when it comes to interviewing somebody, I always thought of it, and I was taught this as well. Just treat that as another conversation, just like a regular conversation, as person to person, and it goes from there.
Right.
I'm pretty extrovert, I would like to think, so I don't have a problem speaking to someone else, especially someone new. So I thought it was natural. It became natural, really, really easy to flow into it.
Well, so for me, brother, I'm no introvert. Or you said you're an extrovert, excuse me.
Yeah, so you're not an extrovert.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. So
okay.
me personally, I feel like I have a good conversation with anybody, but once I'm done with the conversation, I like to retreat into my room or so I can focus on myself. But it does take guts to speak to somebody who's at the very, very top. And especially, how old were you at the time?
27. I mean, I was a little bit older than normal PFCs. I would say I joined the Army a little later. But nonetheless, I'm a 27-year-old PFC who is interviewing a one-star general.
So you didn't take shit from him, basically.
Yeah.
Because a lot of young guys, I feel like when they're talking to somebody, it doesn't matter if you're military, civilian, or whatever. Like, especially when there's like a CEO or somebody who's like really up there. A lot of guys, like a lot of young men and women, struggle with that concept.
Yeah.
And that's like one thing like I appreciate you doing, being able to step in those shoes and just constantly like, hey man, like hey sir, like how's it going? Like how did you implement this series? Like how did you implement these rules? And that's like, that builds off of your character. That builds your growth.
I agree, 100%. Yeah, it's just one of those things, character building things that you have to do, but you should. I think people should do.
Just always talk to somebody.
Yeah, especially someone higher up. They, obviously they're more seasoned. I don't want to say old, they're more seasoned people. And again, I was a PFC, new to the Army, so of course I'm going to get something valuable from them as well. So yeah, it's something you should do, no matter who it is, to get out there and just talk to people.
So before. I think I asked you this before, but before you were trained to do your craft, were you always extroverted? Like, did you struggle talking to people sometimes, or?
No, I feel like I've always been like that. Very, very open to talking to everybody, anybody. Usually, like, let's say I'm going somewhere new, and then there's a group of people, and we're all about to do something together. I usually break the ice by being like, hey, what's going on?
You don't want the awkwardness.
Yeah, I like to like make sure everyone's talking. I hate when you get to a new group or like say you're in line for something and no one's talking. I feel like I've got to break the ice. I'd be like, so hey man, how long you been here?
Yeah.
Whatever it is to start the conversation. I'm that guy. I usually do. We played basketball recently. You notice that I like just started chatting up anybody on the court. Like as I was walking up, introducing myself. That's just who I am. I've always been like that. So.
But I think that's good though, because I actually struggled with that when I was young. Like, I feel like the Army like kind of like pushed us to do that, because like you meet people and the Army's a very diversified culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
I love that about the Army too, by the way.
And you got to understand like how people operate, like how they function in different environments. So I think it's important just to like understand how they feel, like have that empathetic skill to learn like their emotions and so forth. But as far as the talking goes, what do you think you learned from it, though?
From that experience?
Right.
I think one of the biggest things I got from it was just a confidence boost that I am a professional at my craft, and I do know what I'm doing. So it was good to know that and to have it reinforced with someone that high up. And just, I don't know if I said this, it wasn't just a one-star, it was his sergeant major as well. So I had two of them. I was outnumbered. But no, I felt very confident about my abilities after that, which I thought was kind of cool. So, that's one thing that I thought helps. Yeah, I was like, hey, I can do this. Hey, I can be a normal person.
A boost.
What's normal anyways? But yeah, it was a boost. It felt like a boost. I thought it was, hey man, I can do this.
And what methods of training got you to that position?
I think one of the things I've learned about, doing interviews and getting to know people and telling their story, easy thing to remember is just ask the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and of course how, if you need to. But like that is one of the easiest ways to get a conversation going. It's like, obviously when I started my show, that hour was like, would you introduce yourselves? And they introduce themselves, so that's the who, right? So like, why are you here, and what does it take to be that, and so on. And it's just that easy to get it going. So I've always carried that with me when I was learning how to do interviews and talking to people to tell their story, is just ask the 5 W's, and it goes from there. And then you can elaborate off of any one of those. So for instance, like let's say the story is about the actual person, not what they're doing, then just focus on the who. Who is that person? And what does it take to become that person? That kind of thing.
Right.
But let's say it's more about what they're doing, right? What their job is.
Like
so
purpose.
When you get to the question of what or why, you can elaborate off those questions and get down that road.
It's like a constant roll.
Yeah, but
like a snowball effect.
Exactly. And what starts you off is those 5 W's. So I think that helped me get to where I'm at was like learning a basic fundamental of the 5 W's of asking, getting to know somebody, telling their story, and interviewing.
Okay, cool. So going back to the 5 W's, do you consider that small talk though? Because me personally, I don't like small talk. Like I like those deep, meaningful conversations. Do you think that's necessary to
I think
build?
it's how you start it. Like
Right.
if it can be considered small talk, but
As long as you ask the right questions, maybe.
yeah, you got to be authentic. I think too, because like if you just take it as an interview, like I'm just doing a job, it comes off like that. It comes off like that. It's like they're just running through the motions. But I truly have a sincere curiosity and want to get to know people. So yeah, you got to elaborate besides those 5 W's, because if you just stick to the 5 W's, if you literally just ask who are you, what you do, and why are you here, and yeah, it's like
why are we here?
Yeah. But yeah, you just gotta go. You gotta go down the rabbit hole with those questions and really, truly
Like dive
ask.
into it.
Yeah, because I'm a PFC. I don't know what a 1-star general does, but I'm about to find out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if you come at it like that, I think it helps.
So did you have like boring interviews though? Like I gotta ask you that now.
Yeah. Good question.
You did say that if you don't like try to off branch, like you just. Yeah, let me hear your conversation with that.
Okay, so I've had all sorts of people on the radio, and we have reoccurring guests, people that come on a weekly basis. One of the people I used to have on was the BOSS coordinator. BOSS, I forget what it stands for. It's for
Better Opportunity for Single Soldiers. Correct.
Yeah, so BOSS was an organization that helped single soldiers in Korea, find activities to do on the weekends and things to do besides just stay in your barracks and do nothing, which was great. And the coordinator would come on once a week, and they would talk about the events coming up.
Right.
Which was great, because then, it gets out on the radio, soldiers find out. But that person wasn't always the best to talk to. They were just really dry, really dull. So I had to try to spice things up. So yeah, I've had a numerous amount of guests that were, some were awesome, some were like, oh.
But you never had like those, or like is it all volunteer based? Like you can just go in there? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Some people choose to do it.
Maybe there's, like you said, shy, camera shy.
Yeah, there's all sorts of people.
Mic
like
shy.
That. I know. Again, the BOSS person. I mean, they understood that using the radio show was a great way to get their information out, get it to the soldiers who
needed it.
Yeah. So kudos on them. But again, maybe they weren't the best personality to be on the radio. But that's all right. I think the information still came across. So. Yeah. I've had all sorts of people. I've had an NCO come on one time, a sergeant. He was an E5 at the time, and I forget him, PFC. He told a story about something that happened off duty hours at the local Popeyes, and he said something that seemed racist. I won't say it was racist because I knew him, and he wasn't the racist kind of guy, but he just said something.
It came off funny.
It came off wrong on the radio, and I was like, and when that happened, I had to like change gears, get him off, and move on. So it's my show, right? So I had him to come tell a story. Hey, look, this would happen. And then he said something that was like, So I was like, all right, well, thanks for coming by and sharing your story. But now it's time to get to Miley Cyrus's Party in USA or whatever, right? And then move on to the next thing, right?
Right.
So I did that and talked to him after and explained what you said might not have been appropriate for the air. So I've had that kind of thing happen. But again, it's one of those things that experience. I think if I knew that how to transition to the next thing
or redirect it.
Yeah.
Well, so let me ask you this too. Since you said like if you did have like a racist or like sexist or something that discriminates against something in general, like what were the rules or like the accords to bounce back off that? What can you tell the audience about that?
Well, first of all, you nip it in the bud as soon as it happens, right? Like if I have some, like again, that guy was just sharing a story, and he
probably didn't mean it intentionally.
He didn't. I knew him personally. It doesn't matter though. What he said was inappropriate, and what I did was get him off. Like again, find a way to do it tactfully, something smooth, a way to get out of that, and then confront him after. PFC Aleman had to confront Sergeant McGee. Just random name.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about the.
We got time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I loved about the military is it's that you can still talk to people tactfully and respectfully, about things that are inappropriate or wrong. And I did. I talked to him and told him, hey, this is what happened. I think this was inappropriate. He didn't know or felt like he did something wrong, but understood what I was coming from.
Right.
Again, I thought it was really cool that, PFC, talking to a sergeant, that he took that and was like, oh, yeah, my bad.
The question, brother, was going back to the general. Was there were there things that he said to you that were kind of like threw you off maybe?
Well, not that I can remember, no. They requested songs on the air that always threw me off because, we have a set song list that we have to play for the hour. And it's like, hey, man, can you play me AC/DC's Thunderstruck? And I'm like, sure, absolutely, I will definitely play that. And obviously, we're doing an interview, so I can't stop the interview to play Thunderstruck. So that kind of threw me for a loop during the interview. We made a song request. But other than that, no, it was pretty straightforward. They were great guys, very respectful. It was a good interview.
And going back, when did you do your training again?
What year did I do my training?
Yeah.
So I did my training in 2014 from January to May. I think the training was 2014.
And what skills did you learn?
I learned radio skills from how to be a DJ, how to do interviews, learning the technical aspect of all that as well. And then I learned video skills as well, how to do video stories. There's different formats of video stories. Doing video interviews is a little bit different. Writing video scripts. Voice. We had learned a lot of voice techniques, how to speak correctly. Yeah, how to not. Yeah, that kind of thing. That was actually probably the hardest part of the course. Was I forgot what they call it.
Speech etiquette.
No, it was. It's more of a broadcasting. But anyways, so yeah, we learned. I think it was announcing skills, video skills, and radio skills. So the course is different now. You learn way more.
Do you think? I don't know what your plans are after the military, but do you think that can make the difference between you finding a different career or staying in the one you're in right now?
I've always been into that kind of thing. Before I joined the military, I was a videographer. I ran my church's media team. So I've always already been into that kind of thing. And when I joined the Army, it was just
amplified.
Yeah, and I learned a little bit more than I was used to, like the radio skills, which I thought was awesome. And I think, it definitely translates perfectly to the civilian sector. So
I got something to say about that. Yeah.
I would like to continue pursuing that outside the military. Absolutely.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you know this, but videography and video production, it's your top 10 skills right now to make a big bank right now.
It makes sense.
Very transferable.
It makes sense, especially with the social media
right.
aspect of it. YouTube is a great way of doing it. I've dabbled, but never really committed. So,
do you think you commit?
I will eventually. I think because one issue that I'm dealing with right now is being so comfortable in the Army. I already have my money making ability down. Right, I've got a straightforward job that's consistent in the military, and I do what I love for them, for us, however you want to put that. But
I think it's for them.
Yeah, once I get out, when I'm starting to seek the civilian side of it, oh man.
Damn, what the hell?
That's wild.
Oh, the card's full.
We can do that whole section again anyways.
Like I said, just keep speaking. We can do that.
Oh, are you recording there?
Yeah.
So yeah, once I get out, I will. Me and my wife talked about it, committing to maybe trying our own YouTube project, maybe like a YouTube channel that focuses on whatever we decide on. And I think what I've learned in my career is definitely helped me get to where I can do that consistently, and probably pretty. When it comes to production value, I think pretty good. So
like a side hustle.
Yeah.
Damn.
I think it can become more than that. Well, but again, I'm so comfortable where I'm at. I don't know. I haven't really put thought into it, which I probably should.
I mean, it comes naturally. I think you're doing a good job right now. You're mentoring me right now, so that's a plus. You teach the young guys the ropes. But I think I got everything I need from your brother. So
yeah. Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah,
I really
no
appreciate
worries.
it.
Is there a social media site you can give these guys so they can see your work?
Not really. I mean, right now I'm part of the 1st Brigade combat team here on Fort Riley, and what I do is it goes on their social media platforms. So If you want to check out some of the photos and stories I've done, you can just go to the First Brigade, First ID, Facebook and Instagram, I guess. I mean, other than that, I haven't really pushed anything, like you said, my side hustle. I haven't really pushed anything on that, so unfortunately not. But,
well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is an excellent dude right here. He's a good mentor.
Thanks, man.
He has some great work. I hope you're well and safe during these troubling times. And be safe and be blessed. Peace.